mental and physical toughness is a whole different thing, right? So mental
Which is
toughness,
more valuable?
I would say mental.
I agree.
Because at the end of the day, your mind is going to quit first. Your mind will always quit before your body.
You are now tuning in to the Roughnecks podcast with your host, Cole Nixon. Much love.
One last thing before we get into today's episode. A lot of people ask how they can support the podcast. Well, I have a couple easy ways. The first way is just listen and subscribe. And another thing you can do is go follow the Roughnecks podcast on social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube as well. If you get something out of today's show, then do me a favor. Share it with a friend. If you really want to go above and beyond to support the podcast, then head over to roughneckspodcast.com and get you some of that merch. I appreciate all of the support, but let's get into today's episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Roughnecks Podcast, episode 96. So, for my new listeners, this is the segment called Hold My Beer. And what Hold My Beer is me and a guest. We have had only one of them. This is the second one. But me and a guest sit here, drink some beers, and bullshit. There is no necessarily any topics in mind. It's just kind of free flow. Drink some beers like we're sitting around a fire with some buddies drinking beers. But joining me today, I have the first family member to join the podcast. Clayton Nixon, my brother, is joining me for Hold My Beer number 2. Clayton, welcome to the Roughnecks podcast.
It's great to be here. It's a privilege. I get to be the first family member.
Tina and Shell have agreed to come on for a Hold My Beer, but I only have one a month because it's 90, like everything that ends in 6, 86, okay. 96, anything that ends in 6 is the Hold My Beer. So, but I don't have very many of them. I try to limit. I have a lot of different segments anymore. I
try to limit your beer drinking.
Well, yeah, that too. But I appreciate you coming on. It's nice that I wanted to ask though. Well, first we gotta ask, what are you drinking? We always gotta let people know what we're drinking.
Miller Lite and I'll tell you what, guys, if you haven't bought one of these koozies yet, they're pretty awesome. The Roughnecks koozies.
I still have some.
Yeah, I'm drinking a Miller Lite out of one of them right now. If you, yeah.
I'm drinking a Busch Light as always. Busch Light needs to sponsor me. It is a no-brainer.
Busch Light. Busch.
That's what me and Tyler. So Tyler Ruff was on the first one, and we were talking during the episode, I think, and we were like, we almost need to come up with like something during these episodes, like when somebody opens a beer.
It's a saying, like some sort of
a saying, a sound that I need to come up with, or somebody has to do something. I don't know, but there's something. I don't know what it is, but I feel like that's something for the future. I don't know.
Well, and you need to figure out something unique to you. You know that the Busch has got the Busch.
Yeah.
But you need to have like some sort of roughneck. Even if you get a sound, some sort of sound.
I should get a bowl.
Yes,
like bowl. Some type of bowl noise.
Some sort of bowl. Well, I don't know if you really want a bowl noise. That probably ain't going to be very.
A donkey. I'll just get a donkey.
I can record the goats for you. You can put a goat noise.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to bring it up on here and talk. I finally actually like kind of talk about. I think me and you have talked about it, like not on a podcast, but I've brought it up on a podcast, and I haven't got anybody to say anything yet. This is episode 96, which means episode 100 is coming up, and I feel like I need something cool to do, but I have no clue what to do. Because usually those are Q&A Fridays, but I feel like I need some.
I feel like for 100, you need to do something, kind of above and beyond. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it needs to be more than just a normal episode, because that's 100's that's a milestone. That's a big deal. The hard part's going to be finding somebody that's going to fit that 100 spot.
I had a guy that I think would have fit that spot, but I haven't been able to get back in contact with him.
Who was that?
That one coach that was supposed to come on. That I'll just tell this story. Real
Yeah, I
quick.
was going to say let's.
I mean, at
you
this
know, why don't you
point,
tell
I've
your
already-
listeners the story, because I think I already know this story.
I had a awesome guest lined up by the name of Jim Tressel, who, for those of you who happen to not know who he is, he's the former before Urban Meyer and Luke Fickell, technically. He was the Ohio State football head coach, and
took them to a
2000 2000 no, it's
Oh yes.
2002 national championship. Was that his only one, or did he have?
Yes, no. So Tressel only had the 2002. He went he went to the 06 and 07, but he got beat by Florida and LSU back years.
Yeah, that LSU, no, the Florida year was also the year that we lost to them in football and basketball in the national
with
championship.
Mike Conley and Greg Oden. Yes, it
Yeah.
was. It was two very bitter. You had a very bitter January because you got beat in the national title game, and then you had a very bitter. What was that? April? It'd probably be April.
Yeah, roughly, because the
Well,
game
they just played the
they just
national
played-
title. What, 2 weeks? 2
What?
weeks? Beginning of
Yeah, about
April.
to-
Yeah, so the beginning of April.
where North Carolina blew a
Ah.
15-16.
But did you hear?
Baycott's coming back.
And Leaky Black. He has a 5th year of eligibility. He just announced today, he posted a video that he is coming back for his 5th year.
Those are Baycott. As much as I hate him, he is a machine.
Dude, whether you hate him, you like him, the dude.
He's definitely improved from his freshman year, because he was god awful his freshman year.
So he is the first player ever, and this is I'm a very sports oriented guy and statistician, whatever you want to say, just
Numbers.
stupid facts, right? So he is actually the first player in NCAA history to ever record 6 double doubles in an NCAA tournament. That means you have to basically go all the way to the national title game, and he recorded 6, but more than any other player ever in college basketball.
Yeah,
which is a pretty. You can say what you want about the guy. That's a pretty good feat to be able to do that.
Exactly. Anyway, back to my original story.
Yes.
But I had Jim Tressel lined up and scheduled it. Even had a date, time, took the day off work just to record this episode. I remember texting my boss and being like, hey, I know we're kind of busy right now, but can I have this one day off to record an episode with Jim Tressel? And he goes, I'm not going to make you miss that. Like, of all times, like, I'm not making you miss that. And I remember him also saying, but on one condition. And I was like, what's that? And he goes, you have to wear a Michigan hat. And I said, absolutely not. I will come to work if that's the case. But so I had it lined up. I take the day off work. I'm all super pumped, and I'm nervous as crap because I'm like, this is the biggest guest that's ever been on my podcast. No offense to any of my guests. I've had some awesome guests on here, that's for sure. But at that point in time, it was one of the biggest guests, without a doubt, that I've ever had on. And for him to take the time out of his day to record with somebody, he has no idea who I am. I used my college head coach and him know each other. I used that kind of to my advantage through mutual connections, and we were set to record at like 12 o'clock. And then I also found out kind of like he only had a half hour, and I was like, crap, most of my episodes are an hour, and like I don't want to squeeze in an hour's worth of information, but whatever, I'll make it work. I'll just try and get as much as I can out of it. And then what is it, 11:40, 11:45, I'm in my podcast room. I got my mics all set up, I got everything. I'm like trying to be ahead because I'm like, I don't want to screw this up. Like, I want to be ready. And I'm sitting there and I'm just messing around, just kind of waiting. I'm already on the Zoom call. All of a sudden, my computer screen just goes black. And I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, well, maybe I just didn't charge it. Which, speaking of which, I don't know, my charger is plugged in right now. maybe I didn't charge it. Maybe it was.
We're gonna have the same issue with this episode. He forgot to charge it.
Well, I was like, maybe I didn't charge it. Maybe I just, so I plugged it in because my charger was plugged in, but I didn't know if it was like, maybe it was sticking out a little bit and it just wasn't actually all plugged in. So I like checked that and turned my computer back on. And then when I turn it back on, a little circle pops up that says updating. And I'm like, of all times you decide to update, it went into an automatic update, which I did not know my computer. Fun fact, my computer is no longer set because you have settings that you can go in and change that you have to manually do it. And I changed my computer because I'm like, if it ever updates in the middle of an episode again, I will lose my mind. Needless to say, I did not get that recorded, and he's a very busy man, so it is very hard to get him scheduled. I actually did get an email back from, so I like would talk to his assistant, not him, or his, I don't even know what to necessarily call her, probably assistant or
I would say
secretary
probably.
type,
I would
because he's
say
the
it's
president of
Youngstown State.
Youngstown.
Yeah, so I would say probably his secretary is what it would end up being.
Well, yeah, I was talking to her and I like asked her, I was like, hey, just checking to see, because he said he'd reschedule, just checking to see if you would potentially have the time or the time or a time to reschedule. She gave me like 1 day, and it just really it just really didn't work out, and it was kind of a very, very short notice, and I just wasn't prepared, so it just didn't end up happening, but it still could potentially happen in the future. Just it's gonna be a
Well, and I would continue to reach out because I feel like him taking the time off the start to potentially meet up with you. That means and Tressel's a stand-up guy. Tressel's a guy that he, you look at what he did at Ohio State for a decade or more. That'd be a cool one to get, and I think he would give you the time. It's just a matter of trying to get your guys' schedules to align.
Yeah, and it kind of sucks is like when I record most of my episodes, it's like I think pretty much every recording on my calendar right now is 7 p.m. or later.
Yep.
And that's usually what I roll with because it just works out for most people.
Well, in your work schedule,
with most people in general, and me especially. And then like, unless it's on the weekend, then we might be like 10 or noon or something. But he is like his free time's in the middle of the day during the week.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, well, I'm at work, which I can call off, but like I don't want to have happen again when I had happen again. So.
Well, and to have to call off, to take time out of your day to make,
because I'm hourly, so that's the day I'm not making any money.
That's money out of your pocket. Man.
Well, I actually have a surprise for you that you don't know about.
Oh boy, here we go.
I'm assuming you didn't listen to Hold My Beer #1 with Tyler.
No, I
So
did
Tyler
not.
did this thing. Will you go grab it real quick?
Oh boy, here we go.
Tyler did this thing. Where he shows up with something and says every 10 minutes, which we are not doing every 10 minutes. I just wanted to kick off the episode with it. No, up, freezer.
Uh-oh.
Back right. He likes to kick off, or he wanted to do it every 10 minutes, which we recorded for 2 hours.
Boy.
So we got some fireball shooters, which they didn't. She went to Kroger and the what's that? Off 79. Hebron or Heath.
Yeah.
They didn't have any because they don't have like a liquor store there.
No. So that one does not have a liquor store. You have to go to the one in Hebron, or you have to go to the Giant Eagle.
Yeah. Well, they're a little frozen. So we got
the only good way to do them.
Some shooters of some fireball, which is what me and Tyler did. Also, that's what.
Hey,
he asked me. It was either this or I forget what was the other thing that he had. Do you remember? It was Jaeger, and I was like, nope. I will do. As much as I sometimes despise fireball, I'll do it.
I had too many bad experiences. Jaeger, I couldn't do it.
I had too many, and I watched too many.
Yeah, Jaeger
never goes good.
No, and honestly, black licorice, no, it's good, but I'll get down to a fireball.
I remember when I first had fireball.
I'm gonna guess it may have been at my house.
It was the Welsh Hills. No. Yeah, I think it was Welch's. It wouldn't have been.
No, because Fireball was definitely. It could have been the lake. Could have been
Well, the
House.
lake, I remember moonshine.
Well, we did a lot of moonshine at the lake. I would probably say though, if it was probably Welsh Hills because that you were at the age by that point.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
But
Yep.
hey,
Cheers.
cheers! Let's do this.
Ooh,
That at least it was cold.
frozen is the best.
Yeah,
Like
oh,
when it
you-
actually is cold.
You have to have Fireball has to be something that's cold.
Tyler brought it over warm, so it was warm. You want to hear what me and Tyler did though? I think this was my idea, which when I get drinking was not a good idea. We had a bunch of liquor, and we were calling people, and we had them lined up, and I'd read them off, and they'd pick two, we'd mix it and drink it. Terrible idea.
Why would you ever? You don't ever mix like that. Just sounds horrible.
Actually, the one that Sierra made was really, really good. I don't.
Well, that's because she's a woman. She knows what tastes good.
Well, no. Then the other people were trying to make it bad, and we're like, please make it good.
Well, I mean, you see, that's what you get. She's a nice lady right there.
Yeah, something like that. I'll admit it. She is nice. Makes my life enjoyable.
How enjoy it quick.
I was being honest. Makes my life enjoyable. Fun. Interesting.
She's the only thing getting you through life right now.
Yeah, otherwise mom and dad would have probably killed her.
Well, there's a pretty good possibility of it. I'll be honest.
Yeah. So we never actually came up with something cool to do for episode 100 though.
No, well, and I know you had mentioned bringing mom and dad on.
I don't think they'll do it.
You don't think they'll do?
Well, and then here's my other issue too: is I can almost only bring one on because of my equipment setup.
Yeah.
I mean, I have another mic that I could just put in front of us, but the sound quality on it isn't as good.
Yeah.
Well, it's what I started out with. That was the OG. That's what I recommend to people when they ask me about a podcast. I'm like, get this one to start out, because then if it doesn't work out, you're only out like $30.
Well, and here's the thing: is you can invest the money right up front. What I think the setup you got now is a pretty solid setup. It does what you need it to.
It's crazy to think. Like, I would have never expected this, and like eventually, as long as I keep going with it, which I plan to keep going with it, like I have a feeling I'll have like obviously not a Joe Rogan setup, but like something similar to where like a smaller version of that,
Yeah.
to where like if I do, most of my recordings for a long time are probably going to be on Zoom
Mhm.
and virtual, but like if I have I'll bleep it out.
Yep.
Coming on. He lives in Newark.
Yep.
So I'll probably just be like, hey, you want to come here?
Makes it a lot easier.
I'll bleep this one out as well. Is coming back on.
There you go.
And he's coming here tomorrow.
So that makes it and doing.
Oh, FYI, coming here tomorrow. For those who don't understand who I'm talking to, Sierra, my girlfriend, is sitting right here behind me and my brother listening to this.
She's basically waiting for him to say something dumb. I'm looking, she's about, she might throw something at him. I'm kind of.
Oh,
Why didn't you give her a fireball? Everybody else did a fireball. Like,
well, she's supposed to be my tech girl.
well, she's doing a damn good job at it.
You need to hook your computer to the TV, so then when we ask a question, like when we're talking about something we don't know the answer to it, you can just put it on the TV.
See, here's what we
see.
can
Then
do.
we're really on Joe Rogan's scale.
Yeah, see, well, Cole, you got a long ways to go before Joe Rogan.
That is my dream guest.
That I'll tell you what, that would be a cool one. I mean,
he's the person who made podcasts what they are.
well, and the cool thing about Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan's not a guy that goes, deep. Joe Rogan goes deep into stuff, but Joe Rogan is just your normal guy. Joe Rogan wants to explore and find out information from everyone. You know what I mean? Like
That's what I don't understand why people like knock him and bash him, because it's like the dude listens. Like, he is one of the few people in this world, including myself. I can't say I necessarily do. Listens to both sides and can easily conversate. And like, he doesn't argue. He'll be like, he'll bring up points and be like, well, but what about this?
But that's why Joe Rogan has sparked so many, just flames, is because he says the truth anymore. As much as I hate to say it in today's society, and I don't mean to be, bashing anything. It's just one of those in today's society. If you tell the truth, sometimes it's worse than lying about it.
Yeah.
Because when you lie about it, it makes me feel
anymore the truth is getting covered up.
Well, it's not necessarily covered up. The truth sucks. Sometimes when you get told the truth, you don't like to hear it. But, whether you like to hear it or not, you get taught at a young age, you get told the truth. It stinks. Like, I don't like that. Well,
there's always this, we've always heard the saying, the truth hurts.
It does. It does. And it's one of those, the truth only hurts when you don't believe in what the truth is being told.
You don't want to believe.
You don't want to believe. And I'm not saying this in any sort of political aspect. I'm saying this in terms of anything you go about in life. You think
no
about
different, and then someone being like, listen, football is just not for you. And like, now granted, like, we've had stories where people do make it work, but like, I mean, it's just, that's kind of like a very simple way of looking at it.
I was going to compare the same thing. When a coach tells you, like, you're not good at this, well, you have one of two ways to go. You got either, I'm going to pick myself up by my bootstraps and I'm going to become the best player you told, that I think about a Michael Jordan story, right? Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Well, how would you feel being the coach that cut Michael Jordan, one of the best basketball players ever?
Or you kind of look at the 198 picks before Tom Brady.
Exactly. But you had sometimes the best players, the best of anything, they're motivated
because it gives them more of a drive.
It does. When you come,
you're not going to have everybody that is like LeBron or Kobe that just comes out of high school and just straight stud.
Yes. Well, and it's one of those that sometimes, going through it and having to struggle, it creates. You look at a guy. So, you look at a guy.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna take that recording right there and insert it in every episode.
Every time a beer cracks, you're gonna be like, me,
because I can just copy and cut like that and just insert it.
That honestly, you might be onto something. Because a bowl, really, the bowl sound, you're not gonna get a bowl. A bull doesn't really make a sound. Like, it's gonna moo. It's gonna do the same damn thing a cow does.
Yeah, that's So I was also thinking about changing the Grab the Bull logo a little bit.
What do you mean in terms of which one? The bull horn, like the bull, or the rider?
So like that logo right there.
Yes.
Changing the rider, because first off, he's not grabbing the horns. Okay. Don't get me wrong, that logo is sweet, in my opinion.
Honestly,
I was gonna get one where a guy's like this, like kind of almost in a chokehold.
So basically, what I'm picturing right now is I am picturing, the guy off of Dodgeball, wrestling the bull, and the chick sitting there being like, "Is that you?" He's like, "Yes, I wrestled that bull," and it's like him, super muscular, super, That is what I'm picturing right now.
I'm pulling up kind of a picture of what I'm imagining. I've been playing around.
You're looking at steer wrestling.
Okay, but like, it's more grabbing the bull, because if you had like a silhouette with this.
Well, no shit. They're sitting there jumping on us. See something, but the problem is,
I found one that I really like. I really like that one, but obviously, like, I come up with something a little bit more unique for me.
You need to make sure the horns are big, though.
Yeah.
Much like, I'd say it like.
I almost thought about, because like that, it's all the Grab the Bull sticker and stuff, and the logo is all white. Yep. About like making the horns red or like a different color.
Honestly, yeah, to give it a little bit of
or even
a contrast, just to make show the horns, because you're putting in your logo, that Grab the Bull by the horns.
Yeah,
I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been playing around with, or something like that.
Don't do that one.
I don't know. I haven't found
So
one.
honestly, something
That
like
one I like a lot.
go back to the other one, because the problem is think about the apparel. No, not that one. It was the black and white one, right there. So nope, yep, that one. So if you made the bull horns red there, think about how much they would stand out on that black silhouette. So saying that though, you don't want to get so technical to where it gives so much detail, because when you put it on a sticker or you put it on a shirt, the more detail you have, sometimes the worse it looks.
Speaking of stickers, this just reminded me to kind of say this again. Episode 100, I will have limited edition stickers per se. There will be 15 total. That is it. So when they run out, they run out. They will be going on sale the day of episode 100, which is, I will look just to be able to give you guys a for sure date. I believe it's May 6th. Friday, May 6th is episode 100. Those stickers will come out and they'll go on the website. And when they are sold out, they are sold out. I mean, like, no, like, sorry, Clayton, like, not even like, I'm not holding for anybody. So it's just first come, first serve. They'll be, I mean, they're not going to be more than like, I'm not even going to give a price because I don't want to say something and then have to increase the price.
Yeah, don't ever give a price tag. You know, that's one of those.
They're not going to be
rule number
expensive,
one.
but
No.
they'll be out probably at, I'd say 4 p.m. on Friday, May 6th.
Well, and I can attest to this. You know, the stickers. I actually have. I've bought several stickers off of him. I carry 2 of them on my hard hat and 1 of them on my lunchbox, 1 of them on my water bottle. And I'll tell you what, they hold up. They're good stickers. They are.
That's the limited edition sticker there.
Ooh,
It's
I'll tell you
different.
what, you're gonna want to get on these stickers.
It's different
That is
because I mean it's the only sticker that's like this, and I mean it's not. It's just simple. But it's also very. And you know what? If I am the next Joe Rogan, then you can say, "Well, I got his sticker from when he was on episode 100."
100th episode. You know, that's get on it now.
Yeah. But so I actually do have something that I wanted to go to. I had someone ask me a question for a Q&A Friday, but I wanted to bring it to a beers episode because I thought it was going to be better
On a beers episode.
Yes.
Well,
so
anytime you introduce beer to not anything.
Would you rather be a superhero or supervillain?
Ooh. Oh. You know, that honestly, I'm gonna say the villain. And the only reason I'm gonna say this is if you know you the hero always has the pressure, right? So the hero always has to make the day. The hero always has to do this. The villain is the guy that's just out having fun. You know, he's doing it because.
Well, and if he doesn't succeed at what he's doing, that's kind of almost expected.
Yes, you have no pressure. You're the underdog.
Succeed, then you are looked down. Like there's a disappointment factor.
Yes, exactly. I guess I would say I'm taking the easier road because at the end of the day, I go in. You know, you're the villain. You're full. You know, it gets spoiled by the hero. Well, the hero's a hero, and you're the villain at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. Well, if you defeat the hero, well, you know, that's another thing. But you also, you know, you don't have that pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But you also get to kind of free range and do what you want. You get to plan. You get to kind of be the evil mastermind behind everything. And sometimes, you know, the evil, in terms of the smartness, you have to make them outsmart you.
Yes, but here's the only thing I'm going to throw back at you is usually a lot of times those super villains screw themselves when they make the dumb mistakes.
They always.
Hold up. Yeah, I can't hear you. I mean, I can hear you, but what'd you do? Break it? See, that's why I put mine away.
No. Repeat what you just said.
The only thing I'm going to throw back at you is when you look at like when the super villains fail, it's usually when they make a dumb mistake.
Well, because
Is it a dumb mistake or do the superheroes outsmart them? I feel like it kind
I
of.
think it always plays into and I think when you start thinking superheroes and supervillains, you fall into the category of movies as well. Where at the end of the day, who's going to win?
If you said superhero, everybody thinks Marvel.
Yes. So I mean, think about it. When was the last time there was a movie where a supervillain won?
There is none because you know why I'm pretty sure I just talked about we're recording this the day Fast Friday 8 came out. Everybody in this country, especially in our country, everybody wants a comeback story
Yes.
and everybody wants the happy ending.
Yes.
There is no such thing apparently, and I think that's part of. And I'm not saying it sucks that you don't want a happy ending, but like you're not always going to get a happy ending.
No, life. Well, and that's just that. You look at the happy ending, right? You think about the people that end up having that fairy tale ride, that over the rainbow moment.
How many freaking high school sweethearts do you honestly know?
Not very many.
Not including yourself.
Well, and to be honest, and that's it's one of those that when you go through it, you're going to have the bumps, you're going to have the turmoil, you're going to have things that when you drive down the path, it may be a straight path, but there's potholes. There's a ditch. It's never a smooth transition.
I just saw this thing on Instagram that I screenshotted because I loved it so much, and it was actually. Have you seen Peaky Blinders?
I have. Yes.
You need, yeah.
Yes,
so
I've seen Peaky Blinders.
It was a quote, and it had what's his name? Can't even remember. The main guy. You're watching it right now. Thomas. And it says, life isn't meant to be easy. It's meant to be lived, sometimes happy, sometimes rough, but every up and down, you learn lessons that make you strong. Life is about trials and errors.
Well, and you learn what not to do because you did it and you realized, oh, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. This sucks.
It's no different than when we're young and you touch something hot and you go, oh, what the hell? I'm never doing that again.
And being a parent now, you realize that, growing up, you never realized like, well, why'd mom and dad let me do this? Or why you have to learn what not to do because you've done it. Mm-hmm. It's not one of those that right from wrong, but you learn, okay, I'm not doing that because last time I did that didn't go well.
Yeah. And that's like with everything. It's just no different than sports, no different than, writing a paper, right? Like you could make 1,000, like hundreds of thousands of examples of the things that you learn through just messing up essentially.
The best learning tool is, as much as I say this, use my language, you got to fuck it up. You learn what to do when you fuck it up because you have to fix it.
I said, it's like it somehow works its way into the conversation in almost every one of my podcast episodes. You will learn. It is like my saying on this podcast. You will learn more from your fail. You will learn more from your failures than you ever will your successes.
Yes. The success is just the reward for everything you've put into. That's all success is. The failures is where you learn. When you make a mistake in sports or in life, you learn not to do it again. And when you don't, you make the same mistake. And you can get in a revolving door, but at the end of the day, you learn, oh, I don't want to do that. That's not good. Like
exactly.
It's a double-edged sword because you kind of have to make, you have to jump off the cliff and hope that when you do, there's another cliff below you that you hit before you continue through. You're going to have bumps.
And like we live in a country, I hate to say it that way. I don't necessarily mean it that way. There's so many people nowadays essentially that like they fear failure. When you shouldn't strive for failure, obviously, but like you have to understand that failure is going to come.
Well, and failure's a fuel. I've always said that.
And like we just talked about with Michael Jordan, with Tom Brady, like people like
doubt
that.
Doubt me.
Doubt, failure, all of those kind of run together, and it you should use that as motivation, and because like it is just like one of the biggest motivating things that you can have. Well, it kind of goes with the saying, grab the bull by the horns.
Yes, 100%.
When those bull riders get knocked down, you have two choices really. You can lay there, or you can get up and get back on.
Yes.
And how many of them get like, or maybe not lay there, but like you can quit or you can get back on.
Yep. Well, and at the end of the day, you have to look at it. You know, your whole life's a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, if you go about life and everything's easy,
you're living in a comfort zone.
Well, it's not. I wouldn't say a comfort zone. What I would say is you're not having the adventure. You know, as much as I like to say it, when you're in the middle of that turmoil, that deciding factor of I either got to get out or get on, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the you have two choices.
Yeah.
Get out, get on. Well, when you finally decide to get on, it's you almost go into another level, right? And you've been there. You've been in sports where you find that next level of, you know, you're so beat down, you're so done, but you get to the next stepping stone, and all of a sudden you just a whole new life comes out of it, right?
I remember our defensive coordinator, like kind of relating this to sports because we're both sports people, and that's just what we always end up in college football. I always talk about it, but I remember Coach D. Because like during camp, we always had this thing, like every day, a coach and a couple players like had a word to talk about: toughness, discipline, consistency, like some type of like motivation. And they basically went up, like told, like kind of explained, like, hey, this is what this means. This is how we related to our team. This is how, like, just kind of like that.
Yep.
It was like our team bonding type stuff during team meetings.
Yeah.
And kind of get to know you through the players.
Mhm.
And Coach D always told this story all 4 years. I'm pretty sure I heard it because he always had toughness. Because Coach D was our defensive coordinator. He was
The toughness guy.
We always gave him crap because he played at Toledo. And we were always like, you played with the leather helmets though, so you guys were a different kind of tough. Because he's he's been at OU for like 30 years or something.
He was there when I was being recruited by him.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's been
and that was in. Well, the crazy part is, if you'd have went there, you'd have won a NCAC title.
Well, who knows? Would I? You know?
Yeah. But he always told his story. He's like, I had a star defensive. I think it was a defensive lineman, but for the sake of the story, I'll call him a defensive end because I think that's what he was. And I was like, we're in this tight game. There's a minute left, or they're on. They're on the goal line. It's fourth down. There's like, less than a minute left in the game. It's a 7-point game. My star defensive end is pulling on his jersey, wanting to come out of the game. So, and I'm like he's like, I'm trying to tell him, like, stay on the field. No, like
you got to be in you got to be in there. Like, yeah.
He's like, he started running off the field, so I had no choice. He's like, I threw on this little guy that we had. He was our backup, but he was just a little guy, not a very big guy. He ended up pushing through the line, pushing through, meeting a running back at the hole and stacking him up and making a play. And I'm not sure if that's the exact story. Like, I might have messed it up a little bit, but it's something along those lines. Basically, his star player needed to come out. He put in this other guy.
Next guy up.
Who had more willpower. But he's like, it was just a crazy story for him to talk about toughness. And he's like, you want to see tough. Like, when you go down to the end of the line, when it comes down to, like, this is it, you have two options, either put up or shut up. That's when and that's why, like, people push you in practice. That's why people will give you challenges at your job. That's why people will mess with you to see your kind of toughness.
Well, and I think it should be I don't know about you, but in a personal level, you have to test your own toughness. If you go throughout life and never have a struggle, you never realize how mentally and physically strong you really are. It's when you get you're back against the wall. It's you're getting stared the barrel of a gun. You're the whole 9 yards. That's when you find out the type of person you are. And I'm not saying if you turn around and walk away, you're not any less of a person, but it's one of those that some people have it, and it's a natural thing. You have it or you don't. At the end of the day, when you get put up in the situation, you're either going to react positively, in terms of towards it, or you're going to go away from it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no middle ground. It's like you said, you put up or shut up.
So, man, I have a question though, and I know my answer to this, but I just kind of want to. Is toughness? Are you naturally born with toughness, or do you learn toughness?
I think it's a mixture of both. Your upbringing, I think, dictates a lot of it.
We might want to take that flag down because it is getting windy outside.
It is extremely windy.
Take a break for a second.
Yep. All right. We were on the
You were talking. I told
we were talking about nutting up, shutting up, and then we were talking about. You said this toughness. Is it taught?
Yeah. So you said it's a mixture of both.
Yeah, I would say it's a mixture of both because I would say depending on your upbringing, some people are physically or not even physically, they are just mentally tough because they were brought up, and I'll throw out an example: farmers.
Well,
A kid that great.
There's almost a mixture, though, in my opinion, because you look at someone who grew up in a rough household.
Oh yeah,
their mental tough is, in my opinion, one of the best.
Oh well, and
what the hell is that? That was your sign. I bet you that was the only thing I feel like it could be. It is windier than crap here in Ohio tonight.
In Ohio, it is. There's stuff blowing.
At that point, you might as well just leave it down.
I wouldn't pick it back up.
I'm pretty sure you can hear that on the recording.
Yeah, if you hear a thud, it was
it was a sign falling down on the porch because there is.
If you don't hear from us again, we died in a tornado.
Well, they were not going to hear this. If we died in a tornado, how am I going to get it? Unless somebody finds it and recovers it, please post it.
Hey, post it.
We could become famous even when I'm
dead. Yeah. But no,
toughness.
And you bring up a good point because and here's the thing is there's a physical toughness and there's a mental toughness because mental toughness, you talk to a guy, we've talked about it, Cole, David Giggins or Goggins, right? So the dude has been through he's been through what? Every single hell week of basically every branch of the military, right?
Essential, the equivalent to a hell week. I don't know what they're all called.
Yes, but basically every branch of the military, he's going through their highest, training. That's called mental and physical toughness because at the end of the day, it's one of those that to do that type of stuff, there's a mindset for it. Not everybody, I would say not everybody has the, and here's the thing is mental and physical toughness is a whole different thing, right? So mental
which is more valuable.
I would say mental.
I agree.
Because at the end of the day, your mind is going to quit first. Your mind will always quit before your body.
Yes. Always.
Your mind will quit. So if you have the mental toughness.
When everybody says always try to do one more even when you think you can't, it's because your mind is telling you you can't.
Trick your mind.
But your body physically can.
Mm-hmm.
I will make the claim that not always, because how many times have you been doing a rep and then you literally are pushing as hard as you can?
Cannot do it.
But also is that your mind playing tricks on you?
Well,
are you truly pushing as hard as you can?
And that's the thing is there's people that are able, you look at something is something I've actually done some research on the Shaolin monks, right? There's actually a video of a Shaolin monk sitting in oil over an open fire, meditating, and he never breaks his meditation, right? So when you start talking about sitting in a cauldron of boiling oil that's bubbling, that he's sitting there meditating. That is the most utmost respect in terms of mental just strength.
Those dudes literally, those like monks, they have complete control of their minds.
And that's why I say your mental toughness will push you to a barrier that you could be as physically strong as you could, you could be the Ronnie Coleman, or you could be the Jay Cutler, or the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Ronnie Coleman's fucked nowadays.
Dude, well, that's what steroids.
That's what
and
steroids
that's
will
what
do to you.
steroids and lifting a
Body-
bunch
and
of heavy
honestly,
weight will do to you.
lifting-
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, Ronnie Coleman for a while was the greatest Olympian on the earth, But I would say mental toughness. Mental toughness is definitely, I would take superiority in terms of the factor of your mental toughness will take you to way further places than your physical will in all day.
I agree 100%. And with that, we're going to go to a quick break, and you guys are going to go listen to a little segment about why you need to go over to roughneckspodcast.com, because Clayton is actually wearing something from roughneckspodcast.com right now. The sweatshirt, which he said is very comfortable and fits very well. If you want one, there's 2 different options on the website. You have the normal Roughneck sweatshirt and the Roughnecks Bowl. I don't remember what exactly I named it. But it's got Roughnecks on the sleeve, down the sleeve, and it's got a big bowl on the chest. Go check it out. Go check out the website. And let's go to break. Today's episode is brought to you by roughneckspodcast.com. If you want to support the podcast, then head over to roughneckspodcast.com and grab you some of that Roughnecks merch. We have everything from t-shirts, long sleeves, sweatshirts, hats, and many more. Stay up to date on the website for new merch coming every couple months. You can place an order and it'll get sent directly to your door, and I don't even take any of the money from it. The money gets put right back into the podcast to continue to improve it for you. If you can't afford to buy some merch this time, then simply just subscribe to the newsletter, and it'll keep you up to date on all the new things that are coming. I appreciate all of the support you guys give. It doesn't go unnoticed. Let's get back to today's episode. And we are back. So you guys need to go over the website. That's all I'm going to say. Where's my beer? Did I set my beer down?
Yeah, right there, dude.
Oh, no, there it is.
And there's another.
I have my koozie. Those are empty.
See, he's got one job:
All right.
drink beers.
But I have more jobs than that. I have to run a podcast.
Well,
There you go, bud.
Oh,
Shooter number 2.
oh,
Shooter McGavin.
yeah, you missed. That's why Happy Gilmore
You
won.
suck, jackass.
When you're home, ball.
Go in your home, ball. My thing lately's been Bubbles. First thing you do is fucking runs through the mud. It's probably fucked. Something's fucky. The best is when I do here, kitty come, kitty come, kitty come, kitty come, kitty.
This is why I have 14 barn cats. It's because my brother comes over and he's like,
I live right here in this trailer with my kitties. Or this,
the
the
shed.
with
It's
my
not even a
kitties.
trailer. It's a shed.
No, it was actually at that point it was the van.
It was the van.
It
yes,
was.
yes,
It depends.
so-
Can you go
yes.
fuck off?
Fireball.
Don't worry, I'm getting you one this time.
Fireball doesn't know their sponsoring me.
Fireball needs to be. See, there we go. Bush and
And
Fireball.
Man, nobody wants to drink Bush. At least
Okay, but like, how cool would it be if I could make like a collab with Bush?
that'd be cool.
I mean, tell me that's not fitting.
You got to do it on the time. At least you have the what's the camo edition with the deer and the random shit.
Oh,
they
I'm
put on.
starting a collection of mom and dads.
Don't say that on your podcast.
Well, not like I have a bunch. I have full beers that I don't drink. They get put up on the shelf.
Well, you should. I mean, I got mash beer from the '60s.
Well, what I'm mad about too is like I wish I'd have started a long time ago because like those old camo cans, they're not bringing
they
them
don't.
back.
No, you gotta understand
Bush,
that. Yes,
I want to get one that says they also have the Bush Latte one, and they also have a new Bass one out, but I haven't seen them yet. And me and Alex,
you probably have to go up. I bet you if you go up towards the lakes, you go up Michigan, Wisconsin, something like that. I bet you they got them up there.
I knew somebody in Florida, and she's like, "Yeah, we have them here." Or they had the swordfish ones over the summer.
Oh, that'd
And
be cool.
she was like, she actually told me, she's like, if you send me one of the corn ones, I'll see, because they don't have the corn ones there.
Because and what they
It's
do,
fitting in
it
the
is fitting.
region.
Yeah, well, you think about the Midwest, or the Middle East, what the hell?
Midwest and then
Yep.
Southern.
Southern. Yep.
All right, but so where I was gonna go with this, you started talking about Goggins.
Yes.
Have you ever seen the Goggins? Who's gonna carry the boats?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my god,
The-
I'm just
the
gonna
guy-
play it.
They don't know me, son.
Get it.
They don't know
18.
me, son.
Get it.
They don't know
19.
me, son.
Yeah. 20. You got
Why?
more than you. 21. Yeah. Get it again. Come on. We want to see it. Good. 22.
Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
That's you, buddy. Come on. 23. Come on. 24. One more, David.
Who's
One more.
gonna carry the boats?
You're going to do.
I remember watching a podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast, and even like him and Goggins are good friends, and he's like, "Motherfucker's crazy, man.
He's not mentally like that
He's
guy.
mentally tough, but I don't think he's mentally there.
He's not mentally. You can't be mentally there to do what he's done. Like that guy is a freak. Like if you don't know about him, do some research. Look up David Goggins.
I want to
and-
read his book.
Well, so
I'm
I've heard
gonna
his
get his
book's
book.
great. Did you hear about his first ever not a marathon. So a marathon's what? 26 mile,
See, tech girl.
13 what? So I don't remember what a marathon is.
Hey, what's a marathon? We're looking it up.
26 miles.
miles.
That's what I thought because it was 13.
Half a marathon.
That's what I thought. 13 mile. Yes, half marathon's 13. Okay, so David Goggins. So a marathon is 26 miles. David Goggins signed up for a 100-mile race, right? So this guy literally went and ran around
We
a
think
track for
100
100 miles.
We think 100 miles in like a side by side, 100-mile like side by side race
yeah.
is crazy.
Well, I mean, think about this, Cole. He ran 100 miles, but the issue is in order to get into this race that he wanted to enter in, he had to run it in under a certain amount of time. This guy had no training, so he showed up, right? And so he showed up, peanut butter bars, and you guys need to look up the story because it crazy. But this guy was straight pissing blood out of it and shitting himself because everybody kept telling him, you're never going to be able to do this. And this guy went and did it. And then the next thing you know, in the next 6 years, he competed in an unbelievable amount of these races. Dude's a freak.
The dude's nuts.
No, it's psycho.
That's a book that I've got back into reading. I've actually slacked kind of recently.
Well, you started getting into a lot of the military books, didn't you?
Well, I kind of a lot. I read a lot. I listen to a lot of military podcasts. Like
Yep.
I listen to Jocko. I listen to Andy Stump, Cleared Hot. I listen to Jocko's Unraveling, which I like a little more than his podcast.
Yep.
I don't know if I don't remember if I think Mike Glover. He has a thing called Field. I just started listening to it. Mike Glover, but he has a company. I think he's an ex-Green Beret. So I listen to too many podcasts. I'm actually like a month behind on some of them. But the book wise, I read a lot of self-help type books.
Yep.
Or like the most recent book I finished was Urban Meyer's Above the Line.
I've heard that's a very, very good book.
I struggle. Yes, it was before this
Season?
This
Everything
Urban
that's
Meyer came out.
basically the Urban Meyer scandal when he was in
Yes.
Jacksonville and lasted a whole matter.
If
of,
I'd have
what,
read
6
this book
games
right
before?
after the national championship, I would have loved this. I like 10 out of 10. Love this book. But knowing Urban, Urban's also not to saying he is a great coach in college. He obviously struggled in the NFL. He was a great college football coach. He also has an arrogance to him.
Well, and I think the thing is I always say, as much as I hate to say it, very rarely do you see a college coach transition to a pro coach.
No, yeah.
Because of the fact
And
that
vice versa.
Well, and vice versa. Because when
They're two different styles.
They are. Well, a college coach is talking to boys, teens. You're talking to 18, 19, 20-year-old kids.
You also, money's not involved there.
No.
They just want playing time.
Yes. You start talking pros, you're talking to grown-ass
Where
men.
you're talking to people
Millions of dollars.
who can also go, all right, you don't want to give me what I want, I'm going to go to another team and make more money.
Yes. And that's where I always said Urban Meyer, people always talked about Urban as a great motivational guy. Well, once you get to the pros, motivation goes out the window. You can motivate a 18 to 21-year-old kid. You can't motivate a 28 to 38-year-old grown-ass man who's making millions of dollars. It's one of those that you have to have his respect. Man.
Yeah. So that's the most recent book I finished. I'm currently reading a book. Thank you. Just set that one there. Yeah, that'll work. Hey, thanks. Tech girl.
That girl, big shout out.
Shout out to Sierra. She actually asked questions for Q&A Friday.
She is
Send in your
getting on
questions
it.
to Q&A Friday at roughneckspodcast@gmail.com. The book I'm reading right now is actually a book from like 1994. I'm pretty sure it was Paul Paul's. That dad got.
What is it?
Guns, Crime, and Freedom. I'm pretty sure he got it from the NRA.
And that was probably yeah. That sounds about right.
It's actually right here.
Guns,
Look at the
Crime,
back. That's the author.
Oh yeah, this was definitely.
I'm currently reading it though, and it's like I won't get into it too much, but it's crazy how much it's kind of predicted the future.
Well, unfortunately, you look at where, I'm not gonna.
Some of the issues though are still ongoing issues.
Well, and here's the issue. Society, you're always gonna have 1949, Cole.
No.
Sorry.
94.
Yep.
Yeah. I looked at, and then my next book I'm gonna read. It's called Uncanceled by Phil Robertson, none other than the Duck Dynasty himself.
I'll tell you what. You know what? As much as I hate to say it, that's a guy you need to reach out to.
Phil Robertson?
I swear to God. What
Phil or Will? I feel like Jace.
No. I would say Phil, because if you want to get the
sorry. Phil, yes. But
Yes.
like I feel like me and Jace would connect some of the best.
Yes, you would. But I'm saying if you want to get the most out of your podcast in
Most
terms
bang
of
for your buck.
well, I'm saying not even bang for your buck in terms of knowledge.
That's what people don't understand.
He's taught the boys everything they know.
He's and that's the thing. When the TV show and everything came in, he obviously wanted. He probably didn't even want the TV show.
No.
He was probably just like, yeah, I don't. Because I think it also he was like, you know what, this is a good time transition, because look at how quiet he is most of the time.
Yes.
And how many times did I do like the single shots on him?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's just like, you know what, I'm gonna do me. But he's also, I feel like, one of those people. There's a bunch of people talking in a room. He's the one just listening.
He analyzes. That's what he does. He and that's why he is very good. He does speeches. He does a lot of because he's
very religious.
So he goes into the churches and does a lot of the talking. And I'll tell you what, it's one of those that
I
the
think
somebody like that with knowledge.
one of his books, I believe, is actually that like because I think he's wrote like 5 books.
He's wrote several.
One of his books is actually like a daily devotional, like
Yeah,
you read it once a day, and it's
Yep.
give you your
It gives
religious.
you your religious thoughts.
This
and
one, and I know it's gonna have some religious aspects to it, which I don't mind, like I think I told you I read the first sentence. I told when I got it, I was like, I'm gonna read the first page, and I read the first 2 sentences, and it was like, if you're a person that thinks today's, yeah, go grab it real quick. When I read it, I was like, I'm gonna love this book.
Yep.
That's why it's in my next one. And I also, the day I bought that book, you know who Jordan Peterson is?
Yes.
I bought his book, The 12 Rules for Life.
Very motivational book, I'm guessing.
Jordan Peterson sometimes is hard for me to listen to because of how smart he is.
He's a very intelligent.
I mean, he is a doctor.
Yes.
So here is the Uncanceled by Phil Robertson. Uncanceled, finding meaning and peace in culture of accusation, shame, and condemnation by Phil Robertson. First sentence of the book. I want to sell books, but I also want to be honest with you. This book may not be for you. If you are comfortable with the current cultural climate that feeds off anger and personal attacks on others, maybe you should pass on reading this book.
Well, and that's the problem is the cancel cultures came in where if you're
look at Joe Rogan,
and it's not even like, how do I put this in a very sensitive way? It's not that people are against you. It's the fact that you push your agenda so hard that people lose interest. I am a firm believer, and I'll go out and you can delete this if you want, but the Black Lives Matter protest, I'm a firm believer of what they're fighting for. But how they do it, I'm not for it. You look at a guy like Martin Luther King Jr. who did it for, how many years ago? You're able to unite, entire.
Why do we learn
nation.
why do we learn about Martin Luther King Jr. but
Yes.
not necessarily Malcolm X? Like, you still learn about both.
It's two different. It's the same fight in a different way. Yes. You look at you look at the Canadian protest with the truckers. I will support if you go out and you support what you're going for, I'm not against anything.
Exactly.
I will support any individual that wants to do whatever they want to do.
And I want to be clear that we're not, you already said, like, we're not saying like we're against Black Lives Matter.
No.
Like,
I support everything they're pushing for. The problem is
because
I don't support what they're doing.
We do have issues in this country. Like, there is no doubt. And it's more than just black. Like, we have issues in a lot of different like races.
The problem is so many people think it's all about color. It's not about color. You put and I don't mean to say this, but you put I have a very vast majority of black, and I'll admit it. We have a lot of the same interests. We like to sit around, drink some beers.
They just drink different beer.
They drink, but that's the thing. There's no difference. Like, people see color. The color's not the thing. It's all about the ideological, nature of it.
Exactly. So I'm gonna move on to a different topic.
Yes.
Though.
Yes.
I got something.
What do you got for me?
I don't know. I had a whole list of things.
Well,
I had Insta question, but I don't even know what the Insta question is. Oh, I got a question for you. I got a fun question.
No fun question.
And it sucks because it makes you think a lot.
He waited till I was about 5 years deep.
5. I got 5 sitting on the table plus the 6. I didn't have 6 before you got here. Anyway,
some of us are respectful. We threw our beers away.
No, I set mine there. I don't get up. Are there more doors or car wheels? Doors or wheels in the world?
Wheels.
I don't like that you said that.
Why?
Because I feel like there's doors.
Why?
Let me ask you. All right. Let me ask you this question then. How many wheels do you have at your house? All right, not you, because you have 8 different side by sides.
I was about to tell you.
Let's look at this house right here. 2 cars, 8 wheels.
Okay.
All right. 1 door, 2 doors. Do we count those as 3 doors, like 2 different doors?
Yeah, it's a bifold.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11. Like, you see where I'm going?
Okay.
1 household.
Hey,
Most
cool.
households have more doors than than wheels.
Okay, so So you say I'm gonna throw it out on the high end. Average household, 30 doors.
Give or take, yeah. I can live with that. Yeah.
Average household, 2 cars, 8 wheels. Right.
Why don't we say 3? I feel like 3.
Okay.
I feel like 3 is more
so
average.
that puts you 12 wheels, right?
All right, yeah.
So that takes you down to 18.
Yeah.
18 doors. How many 18 wheelers are on the road?
Fuck.
Got to think about that. What drives our society right now? Semis. That's why I say wheels, because of the fact that you're going to cancel out half the doors in your house just on your household vehicles, let alone the 18 wheelers that are just running nonstop. 18 wheels.
Yeah, but they probably still have a.
They got 2 doors.
I'm at a house.
But that's what I'm saying is you're thinking.
I wasn't even going to count car doors per se.
As much as I'd say it, even if you counted car doors, I still think wheels are going to beat you because you got 4 car doors, 5 counting the trunk.
Bill Nye the Science Guy, I feel like you're the guy that can figure this out. Tell me what the answer is.
Okay.
Oh, see, there's that humming noise.
Fix it.
It's this new mic. We're working with new microphones. All right. This is the first time I think we've ever done. This is the first time with this setup.
I like it. Honestly, it's comfortable. I'm
Sitting on a couch.
I'm sitting on a couch drinking some beers, leaning back. I told him, I said, we got to change. He put the mic like kind of off and he's like, you got to sit up. I said, no, we're not sitting up. I want to sit back. I want to sit back and hang out.
I move too much when I record. Even when I'm recording on virtual, like I keep my pen in my hand.
You move.
I have ADHD. Like, I swear I have ADHD. Kind of, sort of, not like bad, but like I have to like be doing something.
Well, I want you to think about this, Cole.
I also remember the first time I recorded where I was like,
but think about this. What do you do in society right now, right? So you hurry up to get to work, right? And then you hurry up from work to do your job. And then you hurry home. You got to hurry up and rush and get dinner. Hurry up, put the kids to bed. Well, you don't have kids yet, but
no,
in a normal.
No, I do not.
But what I'm saying is, in a normal society, everything is our society is built on hurry, rush, get it done, go, right? Well, take a step back. Enjoy the 45-minute drive to work. Enjoy you get home and you got 20 minutes to go out and mow the yard and find a way to enjoy it. Your life is always going to be rushed because you're going to be nonstop with the job. You're going to be nonstop with life.
Oh shit!
Disconnected.
My phone just died. I was going to show you something. I got a perfect song that kind of fits with
Here. Well, I'll just give you my phone and you can be done with it. You want YouTube? Here. Oh, well. Go ahead.
So Granger Smith sings this song. I'm a big Granger.
Oh, you're a huge Granger Smith.
Big
fan.
Granger guy. Not as much as I used
There's
to be.
nothing.
Sorry about the
better
ads.
than a brunch outside.
Yeah,
And
YouTube.
Macy's has all your spring essentials.
Best of all, get an extra 20% off top brand.
Just listen to this.
This city's moving faster than the speed of neon light. Night turns into day and then it turns back into night without rest. I guess that's what we wanted. If you've got a craving or if you need a fix, you can always find you something that will do the trick just fine. In no time, it blows your mind, don't it?
Love this part.
It's a fast food world, running and a gunning, 24/7, 365. Order it up and get what you like. Yeah, it sure is something. But here's the deal, nothing's real. It's a fast food world, dying for a home-cooked meal.
And like just that saying right there, it's a fast food world dying for a home cooked meal.
It is.
Because none of like you look at it, nobody slows down anymore.
No.
How many people? Because I mean, we were fortunate enough to grow up in a family that we sat around the table every night. We didn't sit in front of the TV.
Well, and
But how many people do you honestly know? Like, because I'll be honest, we eat dinner right here on the couch
watch TV.
watching TV.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well-
we still talk for the most part, but like it's a half-ass conversation in reality.
It's the problem is everything's so sped up. Life is sped up. You know, it's go
Society
go go
gives
go
us so
go.
many options.
It
Like,
does.
You look at Amazon. You want something? It's here.
Well,
Sorry,
it's-
Amazon.
It's
You want something? It's here tomorrow.
but it's not even that. I mean, think about our parents. They didn't grow up looking at Facebook or MySpace or Instagram. They grew up. They didn't go to the computer or their phone to pass time. They went outside and they did work in the yard. They played ball with their kids. You know, it's so easy to get everything now. So you can multiply, you can compound so many different things, you know, inside of your life. You think about it with kids' sports. And I can tell you right now, I can attest for that. You know, my son's got T-ball. He's a 4-year-old kid, right? He's got T-ball 3 nights a week. Meh. He got T-ball 3 nights a week.
Jesus.
From 7 to 8. So that means I come home from work. I cook dinner. And my wife cooks dinner, whatever. We get our kids ready. We shower him. I send him off T-ball. He showers after T-ball. Life is nonstop. And the problem is,
And it also, you look at it, it's a fast food world.
it is.
It's so easy too. If maybe you don't get dinner in time,
Mhm.
you get
Hey,
there
pick
after
up
practice. Yeah,
or McDonald's.
yeah,
Or
real quick. It's easy.
It's easier.
And I get it, but people also, I hate people. Like, I don't understand why the United States has such a obesity problem,
Well,
because everywhere you turn, every city, town you go in, there's at least something fast food.
and
Or
it's-
Plain City, literally, look at the name of it, Plain City.
and it's got. how
That's
many-
where my roommate's from, Dan.
Yep.
He's like, yeah, the only thing we have in our town's McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Or 27 different pizza places, which is every town that you go to.
Yep.
But he's like, yeah, we have McDonald's. Because I remember when I went up there for the first time that I met him before we moved in together.
Yeah.
We already agreed to be roommates, and then it was before it was our first time meeting. I went up there and I was like, well, you want to go grab some food? And he was like, yeah, kind of about that. We got Dare Dutchman and then we got McDonald's. And Dare Dutchman, there was a soccer tournament going on, so it was super busy there.
Yeah.
And then so we went to McDonald's, and I was like, but then that kind of puts it into perspective. Like, fast food's easy, it's quick, and it's in every town you go to.
It is. I mean, you get off any freeway. What's the signs you see? You see
That's why you have gas stations
Hot-
and Wendy's,
you
gas
see
station and
gas
McDonald's
station,
combined.
well, you see a gas station, you see fast food, or you see a hotel. You know, it's easier because you pull up to a window. But you know, we were very fortunate growing up that we had a home cooked meal. It could have been, damn, what was it? Peanut butter and pickle and
Chili
soup sandwiches.
or
You know, it was one of those. It was, hey, here you go. Here's a damn grilled cheese and a tomato soup. But you know what, Cole? Did you ever go hungry?
No.
No. You know, it was one of those. I still to this day. There's days, you know, it's
I remember every meal we had. You always had a plate, and you couldn't leave that damn table until
so
you
you ate
finished
it
that
all.
plate.
And there was always
Because
a
if you
veggie.
had peas, because you
Oh, I
hated
hate-
peas.
I used to try to. I would have to. I would.
Tina would. Was it Tina? See, I wouldn't. I don't even think I was born
You
yet.
would-
Tina would like stuff them in a nap.
no,
it
that was
Shell.
Shell. That was Shell. She would stuff them in a napkin.
I'll bring it up to Shell when she comes
Yeah.
on to
So
hold my beer.
what? So my sister.
See, but that's the problem. Shell won't have a beer to hold. She'll have a. Lady
Lady
Blind Coke.
Lady Blind Coke. Yeah. You know what? If you treat her right, get her a captain.
I may just bring her crown.
Oh. You'll have a hell of a podcast.
She won't know what to
you,
do.
I was gonna say you'll have a hell of a podcast.
I'll be trying to, and then she'll be like, "No, let's keep going." I'm like, "No, Shell, the episode's over. We're
yeah.
done."
But you know, you grow up and you grow up and honestly, that's about your upbringing. You grew up
We had
home cooked
parents
meals.
that, you know, we had a plate. And we
Think about
also had a
mom's
glass
beef
of
and
milk.
noodles. Yeah. Oh, you had to drink milk.
If you didn't, you had to drink at least. Of course, I don't think any of us really had. None of us kids, I feel like, ever fought the milk.
No. The milk was a guarantee. You know, most of us, honestly,
It
I
was
know,
just
I
a
know
veggie,
me
usually.
and Shell. Yeah, typically. Well,
I wasn't
and
a kidney bean person. You didn't like peas.
I didn't like peas.
There was always. I mean, it's pretty typical. I feel like for a kid. Not to
Well,
like
and,
something.
yes.
And I can eat kidney beans. It's just they're not like
Your
it's not
favorite.
something that I'm like, yeah.
I'm gonna go to.
I remember you freaking getting in arguments with mom and mom.
Oh, dude, about peas.
Ugh.
She would give me.
Yeah, I remember you sitting at I remember getting out because you're 6 years older than I. I am the for the listeners who don't know, I am the baby of the family.
So we had
Shell
two older
is
sisters, Shell and Tina.
Shell is 16 years older than me.
Yes,
So that makes Tina
she was 4 years under the Shell.
4?
Three.
So that makes Tina 13 years older, 13,
Yes,
14 years
yes.
older than me.
And
You're
am
6 years older than me.
Yes,
And then there's me. So I'm the baby, but
he
I
got
remember,
away with everything. Oh,
See, that's where
yeah.
that's where you're right, and that's where
You
I
got
also
away with
struggle because I'm like,
everything.
because when we were talking about the mentally tough stuff earlier, I wanted to be like, you know, I like to call myself mentally tough, but I also like got babied.
Yeah, but
little
here's the
bit in
thing,
my
Cole,
life.
is you
I
also,
got babied in a different environment.
You did. You got babied by mom and dad, but at the end of the day, like, you know, I look
No.
at it.
Mom will fight you on that
Well, mom,
To a
she
degree.
can say what she
She'll,
wants.
to a degree.
She was so
No.
fucking soft on you.
She was, but
You-
she'll also say the girls were what made me softer.
No, the girls were gone by the time you were there.
No, because when I was younger, they'd always be like, "Oh, you know," because I was the baby. I was,
Yeah, I always
you
got.
know, teenage girls with a baby.
Yeah, and you used to get. You know what?
you got. I remember you get
beat.
beat,
Beat.
not beat. Don't put mom and dad on. The
I would
spot.
get smacked because Cole would come in and be like, he beat me up.
Oh,
and
don't
then-
even. I never forget the time,
Oh.
Dad. We were just messing with
He
him. Like, we
finally-
were doing it on purpose.
He
though.
finally came and smacked you in the damn
No,
head.
but we were both doing it on purpose. It was bullshit. You were like, "Go yell, ow!"
Hey,
And
ow,
'cause
you're hurting me.
Dad's so easy to mess with.
Oh, he's
Love
manipulative.
Dad to death, but like he's so easy to mess with. And he, the one day, Dad went outside. He was
Smoke
on-
cigarette.
He was on
Yep.
the porch, and I was. You
So
were like,
for
"Hey."
for the listeners, we have 3 windows around our deck. So you can walk around our deck and look in the living room.
Pretty much
from
in any spot.
Any spot. So there was 2 opposite couches, and Cole was notorious for laying on one couch and yelling, "Ow, he's hitting me. Leave me alone." And I would literally be laying on the other couch.
We do it on purpose. Don't
No,
even
no,
act
no,
like
no,
you're innocent.
no, we
Stop
didn't do it
acting
on-
like you're innocent.
Dude, we did it at the end when finally Dad realized it.
And then he would find it funny anymore.
But he would walk in and smack me in the back of the head because Cole would be crying like a little fucking. I'll just leave it at that. And next thing you know, Dad smacks me in the back of the head. Well, finally, one time, we finally decided to play with him one day. We were like, "Hey, act like I'm beating the piss out of you, and I'm not going to touch you. We're going to lay on opposite couches." We did it. And Cole thought he was just hot shit,
because Dad came in like acting like he was pissed off.
and he turned around and smacked.
Smacked
He
me
walked
in the
pa-
head.
Oh, he walked right past me and smacked Cole in the back of the head and goes, "I watched everything." And I said, "Well, it only took you like 4 fucking years." God damn.
I'm pretty sure I told the story not too long ago about when you gave me a black eye on accident.
Oh, I mean, come on.
I remember getting asked at school because just to kind of give a rough
we
run
were
down
very
what-
rough with each other.
well,
I mean, we
not e-
beat the piss.
we literally our parents, mom and dad hated it. We'd literally sit there every commercial of every like we'd wait till the commercials.
Oh yeah, but we
When
would
the
play
commercials came on, we'd sit there like as soon as it happened, immediately
football,
we
wrestling.
were wrestling
it
on the
didn't-
floor.
it- well, and
like,
we
I
had
never
the-
won. No
our-
bullshit.
So we never had a sectional. We had couches that were shaped in an L, right? And then we always had a coffee table in between the couches,
Yeah.
right? If you remember that. Well, it was perfect for us because if I hit him one way, he went onto the couch. If I hit him the other way, he went on the couch. If I hit him the other way, he went on the floor.
Yeah.
So it was great. So, as a kid growing up, I'm 14. He's, 8 years old.
Yeah.
Great. We can wrestle, play football. Well, football season was
You
on.
also used to lay on the couch and I'd run through the dining room, through that walkway, dive on the couch, and you throw the football and I try and catch it.
Well, yeah. I mean, but that's what you did. Like, football season came around. That's what we did. It was all football. It was all, hey, I want you to try to get to this couch. I'm gonna beat the piss out of you. You know what the sad thing is? I do it with Jace to this day.
I do it with the grand, all of them.
I was
I
gonna
do it
say,
with all
hey,
my
you-
nieces and nephews. Every one of them. I'm like, listen, you ain't fucking winning.
No. You know what?
Like I'll let you think you're gonna
score
win
one
for-
or
yeah,
twice.
Like I'm
and
not gonna
then-
make you cry, but
Yes.
I'm gonna make you be like, damn, what the hell? Because I always remember down at Doug's playing basketball, you swapped my shit in the creek. I was talking about this with Cole Ansel on like episode 80. I don't know. I can't remember my episodes anymore. It's too hard. But I remember talking to him. I was like, dude, I remember like getting pissed off. Like every time I'd shoot, he'd swat it. I remember then you like throw the ball at him and then it'd go down in the creek and he'd be like, yeah, go fucking get that. And you're like, damn.
You
Now I gotta walk
you
down in the
learned
fucking
real,
water.
Hey, you learned real quick who the older brother was. It was one of those that. And there was a fence there. You just had to make sure you didn't bounce it.
But
over
there
the
was
fence.
there was a couple spots that you just couldn't hit.
No.
And like, let's be real, that fence wasn't the width
The
of the
fence
court.
was only. I would say this fence was only by the time it was all said and done with
Because
the
there would
trees-
be times it'd come off the rim wrong.
Oh, dude,
And
it
you
would
c-
bounce.
You'd
Oh,
run.
yeah.
It was one of those where it hit and you go, oh shit, and you'd run as hard as you could to try
Because
and go
you
get it.
knew. Well, and the problem is, and
It rolled down a hill
for the
too.
listeners, this wasn't like, oh, hey, there's a little ledge. It was a 15-foot drop down
Yeah.
into a creek.
Yep.
So you went from basketball court, about 3 foot of dirt, straight dirt, I would say, mud,
Yeah.
dirt, whatever it was at the time. And then it's a straight cliff. So if you didn't hit a tree or the 18-inch fence that was still there,
rusted barbed wire
oh,
fence.
well,
Not barbed wire. I don't. What is that called?
No, it was just field fence, but it
Chain
was
link, or
it was just field fence,
Yeah.
but it was 30 years old.
Max.
There was
Or
a few times
minimum.
we had to go down over to Sowers and get
Because if the creek
the
was
creek
high,
was high, it
it'd
would run our
wash it down.
basketball.
And you
the
had to
ball
crawl
would
through
get
the
down.
tunnel.
Yeah, the ball would get down there, and our neighbor had two big old aluminum culverts, and we
Yes.
would have to crawl underneath of it to get our damn basketball because the creek would wash it down the creek.
Yeah, but anyway, back to the whole original story where you gave me a black eye. On purpose.
Here. Oh, on purpose.
No, we were wrestling one day, and I'm pretty sure like the show because we used to watch The Simpsons. Mom and Dad hated The Simpsons, but me and you used to watch it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's what was on. And it came back on, and like we were like that was like our break period essentially.
Yeah.
So like it came back on.
Well, it was
You
right
got
after
up.
dinner time. Is what
You
it
got
was.
up, and I remember I stuck my foot out to trip you, like just fucking with you. And I remember I stuck my foot out, but I actually tripped you, and you just so happened to fall right towards me. And like you didn't mean to, I know you didn't. And you came down, and your elbow went right like from like it didn't hit me straight in the eye,
across the eye,
but it like
I
slid
mean,
across the side of my face from
dude,
my eye
It
down.
looked like I punched him square in the face. Like
And I immediately was like, like because I don't know what.
you could have
Fourth
been,
grade,
I think you were maybe
max
7, 8
Yeah,
years old.
I
at that
wasn't very
time.
old.
No,
I had Miss Reasoner. That's who I had. So I was in 3rd grade. So I'd have been young. And I and I just remember we were running to the bathroom past the kitchen.
Yep.
And
don't
I
tell
remember
anybody.
don't tell mom, don't tell
Don't
mom.
tell mom.
And I'm like trying to like control my crying because like I know you didn't mean to do it, but it also hurt. I'm young, and then mom comes around. I remember mom being like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "He didn't mean to."
Literally, I remember him so cold. Like I'm sitting there, mom busts in the bathroom door, and we had one bathroom. So when you went to the bathroom, mom knew
Mom and dad still only have one bathroom. It's just they differ.
hey, you know what? It's still one bathroom. It still counts.
Yeah, they at least they have a
But
bathroom.
literally, mom walks in. She's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm about to get beat." And Cold saved me. He's like, "He didn't mean to," and I'm like, "Well, thank you for saying that," because I still remember the time I threw a snowball in your face. You could have been, I don't know, 8. Same time probably.
I don't even remember that. Was
We
this
got
the
in-
time? Was this when you got slammed against the fridge?
Oh yes.
Okay,
yes.
I remember you getting slammed against the fridge.
Oh yeah. My mom.
I actually that's the only this is the only time that I've actually heard why you got slammed against the fridge. I just for some reason the only memory I remember is you getting slammed against the fridge.
Yeah. So what actually happened there, Cole, is I did it. It was one of those I didn't mean to. I did it, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. Like, you're being a little asshole. I meant to throw it
That's
at
pretty
you."
typical of me.
Yeah, oh, it was. You were the baby. So, it wasn't what I did to you that got me slammed. So my mom broke our fridge. So in our laundry room, you walked out in the laundry room, we had a spare fridge. It was our beer fridge, basically. Not ours, but mom and dad's. Right?
My
So
parents are not alcoholics.
no, fuck you.
I hope mom and dad never. I mean, I know they're not going to because they don't know how to operate everything. But if they ever listen to this, they're like, absolutely not. We're not coming on this fucking podcast.
So they had a fridge out there. Well, it was in the laundry room. Well, that's where we hung all of our winter clothes up at. Like when we would come in from playing
the
in
rail.
Yes, when we would come in from playing in the snow. So, he came in crying. So of course, mom's already
Yelling at
mad that
Clayton.
I'm getting yelled at. Well, I decided to smart off my mom. Well, my mom is not somebody you smart off to, right? So next thing you know, she has me grabbed by the collar of my jumpsuit snow bibs, pinned up against this fridge, and the fridge leans back. Like I feel it give as she pins me against this fridge.
Our mom is nobody to mess with.
No, God.
Mom grew up with three older brothers and one younger brother.
4 brothers.
4 brothers.
And she was a tough cookie, man.
And if you want to talk about somebody that knows football better than you do,
no.
I remember getting out of games.
Football wasn't, it was more basketball. Mom knows her basketball.
But
she knows football. She knows sports.
But like mom,
she was statistician.
Not that, because dad didn't play football.
No. Dad was a cross country runner.
But I remember after because I vivid basketball to me wasn't as important, so I feel like I didn't. That sounds bad, but it just like you have that sport that you love,
Yes.
and football was obviously mine.
Yes.
And I remember like after football games, and I'd be in like mom would kind of do the granddad where
Yep.
she'd be like, "You want the good and the bad."
Yep.
And she'd give you both, and she'd be like, "Well, you did this." She's like, "But this, and this," and you're like, you get pissed off because you're like, "Mom, what the fuck do you know?" Like,
But
'cause
she also grew up.
but then like
with
later,
four brother-
later down the like, not even like later that night, you'd be sitting there going, "Damn it, she was right."
Mom knew what she was talking about. There's a reason, dad was there. But when it came to knowing the sports,
Dad knew basketball too, though.
Oh, I'm not saying dad didn't know sports, but we never really ran a sport dad knew. Dad's best sports were cross country and track. Dad was a stud.
When I would like out of season, like in the off season run, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm trying to do this and this." He'd be like, "No, you need to do this, this, and
Mhm.
this." It's
Dad-
like, if this is what you're working
So-
towards, you need to do this, this, and this.
so
I'm like,
Dad-
"Yeah, you make a point. Like it makes sense when you say it that way."
Dad wasn't able to play football because when dad was, I want to say he was
He was young.
8 or 12 years old, something like
Was
that.
it kidney?
So he had a complete kidney
Yeah.
transplant.
He
So
still has, he's still to
he
this
has
day
one
has
kidney.
a
Well, so he has one
giant
kidney.
scar.
Well, so dad had to have one kidney taken out. The issue is in football, you get hit in the kidneys. It's a big deal, right?
You get hit in the kidneys
Well-
multiple times a game.
Well, you get hit in the kidneys only having one kidney. It's a real big deal.
Yeah.
He wasn't allowed to. So back in the day, he was not allowed to play football. So dad did the cross country and track. Well, dad was
that too.
very good.
Well, because dad's
very
sports were
good.
cross country, track, and basketball, which you
Yes.
all run consistently.
Yes. And dad, he, as much as I hate to say it, dad talked, how I could do this back in the day. I guarantee dad could.
Hold on.
My arm was this, but
My
elbow was above the
was
rim.
above the
I got a
rim,
picture.
And we still hold on. The running joke in our family is dad has said
My elbow was above the rim.
Still to this day, I have yet to see a picture
And I
of
will
his
say,
elbow above the fucking rim.
I will say that out of all of us, I was the closest to dunking.
I got a goaltending.
Well, that's not hard to do.
I'm just saying I got a goaltending.
Quite.
So I feel like
Did you
that's
ever-
closer.
hey,
I feel
did-
like that's closer.
Did you ever pin him against the backboard?
No,
Okay, well
I
then
didn't do that.
Well, did you ever have a tip where you literally have a picture of you with your arm above the rim, and if you would have realized that you would have dunked?
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. When you're not used to dunking, you don't realize those things.
Oh, Cole, I'm sorry, but
No, but that also goes to show that we both could jump,
yes,
and we definitely got our jumping
got it from
ability from
Dad.
dad.
and there was a
'Cause-
lot of people. John Cox, a teacher I had in school.
I
he-
had him as a substitute.
Yes, and he even said, your old man, he was only 5'9", but that dude get up. I
He
thought
used to piss John
Cox
off
off because Dad was
And
the
John
guy.
Cox was a record setter. at
Yes,
Wilkins.
he was a guy that he was the
That's the guy
he was
that
the
maybe
big
I
man.
should have on the podcast.
Yes.
John Cox.
You need to hit him. He lives out in Arizona now.
I know.
Yes.
He's married.
Yes, he is.
Good for him.
Yes, and I'll tell you what, he was one of my favorite math teachers. He was always such a just. It was always a great.
Did you
time.
wear a hat?
Yes. No, not in school.
See, when he was a sub, I feel like he just didn't give a shit. He wore a hat. He wore that
The
little
dude took-
fedora or
The
whatever.
dude taught for 30 some fucking years.
He didn't give a shit. man.
No,
It's like Marty Dahlman. Like he didn't care.
I'll tell you what. I got away with a lot of stuff in high school.
Because of Dahlman.
I'm not gonna say yes.
I'm never gonna have Dahlman on this podcast. I can tell you.
Let me put it this way: had it not been for Marty Dahlman, I probably would have been either suspended or expelled from school
That's
a
good.
few times. We
Don't. Yeah, I won't
we
even- won't go
are
into
so
who
so
Dahlman-
my senior year in high school, and I, I don't mean to bring this up, but my senior year in high school, they basically told us if you guys do a senior prank, you will all be withheld from your diplomas.
They tell that to they told my class that bullshit.
Yeah, but Cole,
And my class was too much of a fucking pussy.
we made three teachers retire early.
That's good. Miss Broccoli? I've only heard. I don't even know who the teacher is. I just
Dude.
know her as Miss Broccoli.
Dude. So we had a English teacher my senior year. So my
Was it
buddy
Morehouse?
No. Well, he was in there. So my buddy Corey's mom, and I'm not gonna throw any names out there. So she was in charge of setting up the class schedules, right? So we found out, of course, being in football, we knew right away because we were there at the school every day what the class schedules were. Well, we found out that there was a lot of
You
us
want
that
to do
had
another one, or you want to call it quits on there?
no, God no, hell no. I'm
Hey,
gonna
go get you another picture. Thank you. Hey.
So we found out that all of us had the same class, just different teachers. So we went to my buddy's mom and we were like, "Hey, can you make our class schedule to where all of us are in the same class?" Right. So I want to tell you there was 28, I'm going to say 30 people in this classroom, right? And I'm going to say that 18 of them were senior football players.
That is a terrible combination.
Well, that is the reason that that lady retired early. We had her convinced one day that her computer and her classroom was set up for inadequate teaching. We unhooked all of the electric and all of the internet in her classroom and rerouted it above the ceiling, a drop ceiling in a classroom.
Yeah, I mean it's not too hard.
In a public school. And we spent an entire day. Well, first off, it wasn't until halfway through the year that she even realized. So what we had at walk-ins is we had 3 lunch periods. We had a lunch period. So you either had lunch, class, and they were all half-hour increments. So you had lunch, class, or you had lunch, class, lunch, or you had class, lunch, class. So what we had is we had
lunch, class,
yes.
class, lunch.
You had half-hour
class.
increments.
Yes.
Yes.
It was an hour.
It was
your
an hour
longest
and a
class
half.
of the day,
Yes. It was the longest class of the
which
day.
most of the time you bullshitted the last 15 minutes.
Yes.
Anyway.
So ours was, well, what we had is we had, so they
I had that with Miss Elder.
in the hour and a half that
And
you
let me
had.
tell you, there's no better teacher to have that with Miss Elder.
Yes. Well,
Maybe Miss Broccoli.
Well, here's the thing is what we did is we had the first half hour. So each half hour increment, so you had an hour and a half. Well, every half hour they rang a bell, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we had class, lunch.
Worst
So
was when you were taking a test, though. A test.
hold on, I'll get into that. I'll get into that. So we had class, lunch was what our schedule was, right? So we weren't supposed to leave till 11:45. Well, at 11:15 the bell rang for the first technical, like intermediate, whatever. Yeah. Well, we had our teacher convinced for the
12:15, not 11:15. 12:15.
No, I was gone by school by noon.
I thought you just said 11:45.
Anyway,
continue.
That was when
maybe I'm just the one.
11:45 was when
fireball.
So no. Listen. So 11:45 was when my lunch started. So we had.
Okay.
So what we had is we had our first class at 11:15 to 11:45, and then 11:45 to 12:15. Right. So 12:15 was when I was supposed to leave school. Well, 11:45 or whatever that bell came around, rang. We had every kid in the class convinced that class is over. we would all get up and walk.
And you still had another 50 or half hour class or whatever.
We would all get up and walk out of class. Yeah. I had a buddy of mine. He was kind of a troublemaker. He walked into class, right? So because he was such a troublemaker, the superintendent and the principal would come in and check on him, right? Well, they walked in one day at right as the bell was ringing, and we were all getting up, packing up our stuff and leaving. And the principal and the dean of students, superintendent walked in, and we were all walking out, and they were like, "Where are you guys going?" And we were like, "We're leaving." And they're like, "Well, you guys still have another half hour of class." And our teacher looked at us, and we were like, "Oh, shit." I'm not kidding. Half of our school year, we were able to get out of class a half hour early because we basically had her convinced that our day was done. Well, then after that, what we started doing is we started just I feel so bad to this day.
No, you don't.
Well, no, I don't. So when we would take tests, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I was one of the smarter test takers. I studied my shit. So we would get to class, and my buddy Corey would sit behind me, and he'd be like, "Hey, what's the answer to number 3?" And I'd be like, 3B, 3B. And I just shout it, and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I got Tourette's. I randomly shout shit." Well, we would do that for the entire test. So literally one person would study the test, or one person would have the cheat sheet. And what we would do is, as a class, and so our teacher would be like, "You guys all got like 98s. You guys are really good." And we'd be
I
like,
got a story for that right after
and
this.
and we would be like, "Yeah, we're such great students. We're fantastic."
Do you know who I'll bleep it out, but Mrs. Bella is?
Oh, for fuck's sake, the fake
Dumbest
French
fucking
chick.
Oh my god. Oh. So
She was the library
Fun
chick
fact.
for a while.
she was library when I left,
Okay.
but she was
She was
taught
so
French
fucking. She
when
was so
Shell
fucking
and
dumb.
Tina were in school.
She was so fucking dumb.
I'm pretty sure
that was the chick
so-
that Tina would be like, "I gotta go out and do this," and
and
leave,
Tina also turned in Shell's French projects.
and got A's.
Yep, they got the same grade.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
So, but no, I had her for, I think she was a history teacher for like a minute. I'm at that point, I was like, looking back now, I'm like, they must have been shorter teacher.
She was the
and been like,
short-haired
hey,
blonde,
yep.
like put
I mean,
powdered
it was-
makeup on.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I had her for world history or something rather. It was some type of history class. And I had her for that. And we used to literally, so our desk were lined up, like if the wall's here, the desks were lined up against the wall.
Yep.
Then you had a row in front. Then you had 2 rows facing the front of the classroom. So like the other 2 rows were facing this like
And
in towards the middle.
yes.
And then you had 2 rows on the other side
Facing this
facing the
way.
middle.
Yeah.
I set like the 3rd desk in on the first row by the door.
Yeah.
Well, we had this kid named Michael who was really smart. I hated that fucking class. I slept in that class. It was like 3rd period, so like kind of mid morning.
You're tired.
So
you're
I
ready.
come in
yep.
every day, and like I remember the one day I came in, literally, just fucking. She started talking, put my head down, put my sweatshirt over my head, didn't even pay attention. Mom, I'm sorry, but I also had Miss Bell eyes, so like I wouldn't learn that much.
No, you weren't learning shit.
And I was sitting there, and I remember I wasn't even asleep. I remember her coming up to Jared, the guy that the guy that sat beside me, and she was like, "Is he okay?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, he's just a little tired. I think he's a little sick. I think you should just let him sleep." And she's like, "Oh okay," and just walked away.
She was so dumb.
But not even that. All right, so Michael, I had Jared here. Tristan, I'm sorry, I'm calling you out. I had Tristan Landrum here, who's been on this podcast, Dirt Bike Racer. And then I had Michael. Jared, me,
Tristan.
Michael was sat on the end.
Yep.
Michael was a smart kid who actually like studied and tried. Smart kid, love the kid. He'd do all of our tests were Scantron tests.
So he would get all the answers.
He'd do the test. fill it in,
Pass it.
give it to Tristan. Tristan would fill his in, change a couple, give his back to Michael, give me his. Like he just passed me his, I do mine, pass mine back, give it to Jared. It literally would go down the line and then come back, basically all the way back to Michael.
Yep.
We turn our test in, and I'll never forget this. The one day she goes, "You guys all got a really good score, and they're all pretty similar." And we're like,
expecting to be like get called out on. She's
like-
like, "Good job."
and we're like, "Nah." And she's like, "You guys did a really good job." And we're like, "Thanks."
Yes, we did. Yes.
That was our point where we're like, we can do this on every test.
Well,
But like Miss Millite,
hey,
there's a reason she became the library.
yes. So Corey, all right. So you took French, right?
Me?
Is that what you said?
I took German. Tina and Shell took French.
Okay.
Me and you
they
took
had
German.
yes.
They got rid of French before me and you got
So-
in school.
At the end of my French, or sorry, German. I took 3 years of German.
I got to work in the morning, but fuck it.
Well, hey,
When do you want to stop this? You want to go? You want to go to 2 hours? We can go to 2 hours.
dude, you tell me when to stop.
I
talking.
mean, I don't care. Might as well go to 2 hours.
All right, deal.
Hey,
Okay.
listen, you guys are gonna listen to 2 hours. If you
Well,
guys don't like it, then
get over it.
fuck yourself.
Well, you know what? Don't come. You know what? Come have fun.
I'm gonna do another fireball shot. Clayton's gotta do things. He has kids.
No, I don't want to do things. I just
Well, you have children, and we have Easter tomorrow. And I might have to work tomorrow. Just make sure.
did
I'm
you say
up.
might.
I do have to work tomorrow.
What time?
7.
Oh, it's only 10:25.
Exactly.
Gosh,
See, I can
we
be
gotta-
asleep by
I'll tell you
11.
what,
I
I'll
could
tell
be
you
up
what,
by
you know what,
5.
we
My
gotta-
coffee
we-
will- Do one more, Clayton. One more. Megan, I'm sorry. It's my fault. You can hit me. I give you permission.
well,
Actually,
so-
if you made it an hour and 45 into this episode, then I definitely give you permission, and I will give you a hold my beer shirt. Let's go into this real quick.
let's do it.
I don't think we've talked about them, have we?
No, we have not. We need to bring them up because this is the whole point of this. So Tyler Ruff started
Tyler
this
Ruff
whole
started-
drinking the beer thing, right?
Don't give Tyler the fucking credit. I came up with the goddamn
No, I'm just
thing.
saying he was your first, but you got to give credit. Hey, you
Oh,
got
hold
to
up.
give credit.
Time out before we go too far.
Cheers! Shout out to Sierra, our tech girl.
I tech girl.
She's getting after it.
There we go.
We're all doing a shot of Fireball.
I feel like the shooters actually worked out better than a bottle.
The shooters are better. You can keep them colder longer.
And you can just pace yourself.
You mean pace yourself.
Because then you look at how many you've done. When you do shots, you're like, I've only done like 3, and then you're like 5 in.
Well, I mean, think about golf outings, Cole. When we play. Speaking of that, are you going to do a Roughnecks golf outing?
That was on the list of things that I wanted to.
I think
potentially
honestly,
bring up.
I know a lot of people that would be interested. I think
Okay.
I could.
Here's the thing. Yes, I could have a lot of people interested in playing. The big thing, you got to find the sponsors.
Well, I mean,
And I feel like I could go to like,
so I think we could give a shout out to a Zach Parr.
oh hell yeah,
This is Zach Parr with Remax
Zach
360.
Parr. Let's bring Zach Parr on the podcast.
I think
I know
Zach-
he's listening. I know you're listening.
Yes,
Zach,
you
if
know.
you're listening, how about this? I'll give Zach a shout out. But here's the deal. I'll only bring you on if you tell me you were listening this far into the episode.
You know what? That's
a
what we'll
fair
do.
thing
Hey,
to do.
tag him in this episode and be like, Zach Parr, if you listen this long, we'll give you a sponsorship.
Not even a no, don't say sponsorship. I can't afford a sponsorship. Because the sponsorship means I'm paying them.
No.
Zach needs to give me a sponsorship.
Either way, it would be one of those.
No, I could get I feel like Zach could sponsor a hole. Like you're gonna have people that sponsor holes. You're gonna have people that give gifts for
Yes.
the 50-50.
Yes, 50.
And like that's the thing. Obviously, this summer not
No,
possible.
no. This would be something you'd
This would
plan
be next summer,
years ahead.
and I need to start now.
Yes. And what you do is you
I'm
get
already kind of on it because I also know like Ren and Buddy.
So you got Ren and Buddy. You got and you
I got it. Definitely.
I think you have enough people
connections.
to where you could get hooked up to where you could start your first, Roughnecks golf out. And here's the
I'd
thing.
probably play it like something like Willow.
Well, not even. I wouldn't even say worry about the course. I'd say we're gonna have fun with it. We're gonna. Hey, it's gonna be you're gonna show up. We're gonna have good times. We're gonna do Jello shots. We're gonna do stuff like that. Like golf outings aren't supposed to be about who wins. Like golf outings are supposed to be about
Everybody cheats anyway.
well,
And that's just, what's going to be the hardest part for me
winner.
if I have a golf outing? Guess who's not playing? I got too
Why?
much other shit going on. I got to make sure the food's good. I got to make sure how many golf outings have you gone to where the guy actually plays? Like truly actually plays?
Not very many.
Exactly.
Not very many.
They have
But-
too much other shit.
But what
And-
you do,
and I'm okay with that. No, I'm going to be drinking.
But here's the thing: is what you do is you get it set up. So you get a guy like that will do your food. Or
I was gonna say it, but I didn't.
it's
I was gonna.
expensive.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Or what we do is we say, hey,
But you know what most people do though? What most people do is city barbecue.
how about this? I could bring a flat top, and
You're not playing.
No. Come on, dude. I cooked all that.
That's what you got to look at.
Come on.
Because here's the thing: is
You-
then you
somebody's
have
gotta
to be
cook
the
it.
very first food.
Okay, then what you do is you have to find somebody that's going to cook you the food. But the problem is, are you going to get good food?
Huh?
Are you going to get good food?
It depends on how much I have to, because that's where here's where you have to go at. You have to look at what are you going to charge for catering,
Well,
but then
But
you also
here's
have to look at,
I know people.
but you have to kind of add in the fact of whole sponsors, give sponsors. How many do I have? Can I afford with what's being giveaway? You almost have to put with the pros and cons of do you are you able to do a good cater? Because if you that's where your selling point.
Yes.
Hey, you're paying for the catering is what you can say. You're paying for the catering. You got city barbecue, you got whatever it is. But you could also win this in 50-50. You could also win this
But
in
do you
whatever.
think?
Because how many par threes have we gone to where you could win a golf club? You could win, even if you hit it on the green, you get a set of golf balls or whatever.
Yeah, but Cole, I want you to think about this. You're worried about what people are going to win. The people that are going to be playing in your golf outing, they're not worried about winning. You offer them, hey, we'll give you, you show up.
Hey, let me ask you this though. We played in the
Golf outing.
Golf
Yes.
outing.
Yes. Food was shit.
food was shit.
And you paid how much?
What was it?
You know what I mean? It was
What was
like
it? 80,
I think it was
60,
80,
80,
80,
90?
I think it was $80 or $85.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We played at a nice golf course.
Yes. But you could go do it at Harbor Hills.
I
Go
could
do
do
it
a
at
Harbor Hills, Willow Ridge.
Burning Tree, Willow
Nah,
Run.
Burning Tree we couldn't do.
Why?
Isn't that a 9-hole course?
18.
Is it?
Yes. And you could probably, honestly, where they're at right now, you could probably book them out for a weekend and pick up not only 18 on your own, but 18 elsewhere.
See, here's my other thing that I wanted to bring up. Do we want to double hole it?
No.
I feel like you go a course and a half.
Your first year, single hole.
Single hole.
The reason I say that is because if you try
Shit's
to,
gonna go wrong.
yes,
You're gonna
you
have
try
shit
to,
go wrong.
and you try to double hole it, and what happens is you have a quarter of them no show.
And you miss out on half that profit.
Yes. So what you do is you guarantee 18 holes
Profit,
for revenue. So one team,
And when you go that far, because you're thinking of how much you have already invested,
Yes.
you can order this food or you
Yes.
can do this, and then
So
all of a
what you
sudden
can
you're in the
do-
negative in that golf outing.
what you can do is you can say, so think
Which-
about it.
Hold on, is
if-
a golf outing more about making money or is it more about name?
It depends.
I think it's a little bit of both.
It is because when you look at it,
Because
in
I feel like
terms-
golf outings honestly don't make that much money.
No, you're not making money.
Like golf outings aren't. I feel like do they make that much money?
No, you're not gonna make money off of a
It's
golf
about
outing.
name.
It is, and it's one of those. As much as I say it, it's about fun. It's about a golf outing isn't meant to make money. It's more or less to make.
Because how many times have you been in that position where you're telling a story and you're like, I remember I was at that golf outing. I was at that
Mhm.
this such and such golf outing. I was at
Yes.
that golf outing. And you know what? It may not be a big thing, but like that little mention can go a long way.
Well, and think about who you're gonna get in a golf outing. You're gonna get people.
You're
that
gonna
are-
get the people that actually care.
yes. You're gonna get the people that are support you.
Well, the teams. Most of the teams
Yes.
are started through people who actually care.
yes,
And then you're
yes.
gonna have 2 to 3 guys who have no idea
who
what
this
it
even
is, and then they learn about it, and you might only get one guy each team, or half of a guy each
but
team.
that's
But
still
if you
a
get
guy
half of a
or
guy each team, that's 9 people
yes,
that you
in
grow.
an 18-hole course. Yes, and that's why I say keep it a 18-hole thing. You don't want to expand past a
Not yet.
no.
Not till we're playing Pebble Beach.
Motherfucker, you playing Pebble Beach? You better call me. I tried to get you to play fucking the one over there in Hilton Head, and well,
Hilton Head.
yeah, they're getting ready to play it this weekend. It's the one with the lighthouse.
Well, you got to remember, I wasn't working much then.
Well, all I'm saying is
That was
next time we
college.
next time we go to Outer Banks, it's a 2.5 hour drive, and it's $300 and some around.
What it might be worth then, because you know what?
All I'm saying is, how cool would it be to play a PGA course?
Okay, another.
I don't
thing.
even care if I shoot a 90.
What do you think this summer? It'd be a limited quantity selling Roughnecks golf balls. It's 3 packs. 3 packs.
Honestly, not good.
Okay, fair enough. I needed somebody to tell me
No. I'm honestly saying that because when you look at golf balls, what do you go by?
Cheapest.
Yes,
The cheapest fucking thing I can find.
you're not going to make any money off of golf
Yeah.
balls. No. What you do is you get yours off your merchandise.
So
of-
maybe you do like giveaway at the golf out.
yes. So you could do that, or honestly, think about the OWU, right? So you have
You know what would be awesome?
what you do, Cole. You take so you estimate. Okay, hey, I'm going to have 18 foursomes, right? That's what you're going to have in a golf outing because you start one team per hole.
Yeah.
You put in what it costs. So what you have to do is you have to get what it costs you to do the golf outing from the golf course. Spend the rest of the money in prizes, like what OWU does, right? They got all the apparel they're giving away. You spend that money up front.
That mother.
Well, no, listen.
them motherfuckers have that shit sitting up in the stadium.
I
all
know
year
they
long.
I know they do. So what you do is you do a 50-50 where the only way you win stuff is off your 50-50, which means you're guaranteed your money in your golf outing, right? So
Yeah.
you're getting your money to pay for the stuff. Then what you do is on your 50-50 drawing, similar to what OWU does, they're not giving all that shit away. And you don't have to do it like they do, where it's like everybody wins a prize. It's, hey, we're putting 20 tickets in. Buy your tickets. This is what you're winning. You know, you got a windbreaker, you got a hoodie, you got a t-shirt, you got a hat, you got that stuff like that. But what you have to do is you have to add it up to where it becomes you got to look at your dollar amount.
Yeah.
And I know you can delete all this, but you got to look at your dollar amount.
I don't see. I currently do not have the dollar amount for that.
No. And
do what OWU does,
no,
I don't have that.
not even close.
I'd love to do that. That'd be awesome. To be able to put a whole table, like 3 tables worth of
Merchandise.
merch,
Yes.
and be like, when it's gone, we're done doing 50-50.
Yep. Well, but here's the thing: is what's to say that the course is X amount of dollars? You're able to get that off of your money.
That's what I'm also curious about, though. If I went to a course and was like, "Hey, I want to do a golf outing," I honestly have no idea what it is at this point. I'm curious what that amount is.
You don't know till you try.
100%. But
Yeah.
like, it's when you really think, people like when you play in a golf outing, that's not something you think about.
No.
But then you look at, like, because we complain about how much we're paying sometimes, but you also have to look at the course. But then you also add in the food, the catering,
Yep.
and you're like, when you kind of take from a business standpoint, when you take a step back on things, you're like, oh damn, like, oh, all right, I get it.
Once you start talking bulk money, it's harder.
Yeah.
Because it's not just like, oh, hey, I'm just paying for the golf outing.
Yeah.
No, you got food, prizes, anything else that could potentially happen, right?
There's a
So
lot more to it.
There's a lot, and that's why it takes a lot to go into a golf outing. That is because there's a lot of things to go into it. It's not a moneymaker. It's
Exactly.
again, like you said,
It's an attention grabber. Essentially, it's a name
it's name
recognition. And you know what? I'm gonna wrap up this episode. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
You know what?
because
It's been 2 hours.
2 hours, and we've been sitting here shooting the shit. So
See, that's the problem with these beers episode is me and Tyler ran into it. Like,
Yep.
you start drinking, you start talking,
yes, sir.
and I run into it with mine, like normal episodes where I just talk and I have 100 different questions that I could ask, but it's hard to sometimes it's hard to quit talking.
It is.
And the more, like, the funny thing is when I first started recording these episodes, like my podcast episodes, like half hour, 45 minutes, whatever, and it felt like it was forced, and now it's like an hour, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta find a way to cut it off. Like, I used to like try to extend the conversation. Now I'm trying to find a way to stop the conversation.
Yep.
But that's a wrap on this episode 96. Mom and Dad have to come on for episode 96 of the Roughnecks podcast.
Bingo.
Or no,
100.
Mom-
100. Hold on. Don't. Hey, see, this is what we see. Hold on. Time out. I'm gonna explain the situation right now because Cole is
took
sitting
like
at
3
7.
more shots.
Oh yeah, we're both.
hold on. 2,
You-
4, 6, 7 beers, 2, 4, 5 fireball shots.
I'm at 4 fireballs.
Give me another
and-
fireball shot.
Yes.
Anyway, Mom and Dad, come on, episode 100. This is a wrap
100.
on episode 96. Thank you, Clayton, for being the first family member on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Shell and Tina might kill me and give me shit on their episodes, but we'll go with it. Thank you. And so you guys know the deal, though. Until Monday, I got a good episode for you guys on Monday. But until Monday, you guys know the deal. Life is hard. Fuck.
Life's hard.
I got it.
Deal with it.
Nope. I have a sign off. I have a whole ass sign off.
Life knocks you down. You get back up. Quit being a bitch.
Something like that. I'm gonna make that the fucking intro to this episode.
Grab the bull by the horns, baby.
I can't fuck it up. Like I have
You
to.
have to. It's the same thing
it's just- I
every
have to
fucking.
get it
Like
word
this is
for
your.
word.
Yeah. Like this is your sign off.
If you guys want to hear Clayton on more drinking episodes, then comment on the Instagram post or whatever it is, or let me know and say more Clayton. Clatyon, because that's what his graduation party invite said.
And
Eric Smith was the only one who noticed it.
enjoy it. You know what? We're a good time.
Yep. So, but until Monday, you guys know the deal. Life is hard. It's going to knock you down just like a bull does to a bull rider. Don't let the bull of life walk all over you. Get up, grab the bull by the horns, and take control of your life. Roughnecks out. Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Roughnecks Podcast. If you like today's episode, then be sure to subscribe, rate, and review, and share it with a friend if you got some value from it. Head over to social media and follow the Roughnecks Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Don't forget to get you some of that merch by heading over to roughneckspodcast.com and subscribe to the newsletter while you're there. See y'all next week. Roughnecks out.